Alright guys, today we're going to start on the headers on Justin Swanstrom's Radio vs. World car. Give you a little rundown on kind of the differences on some headers and what we're going to do here with this particular build. These are a typical zoomie bend for a Pro Charge style car. Obviously if you look at them, they're all different angles, starting with 79, 76, 73, and 70. The reason for that being is if you start the header here, this tube's a lot straighter than this tube. So if they were all the same bend, when you got out to here, they would actually roll out. So you don't want that. So that's the reason for that. On a normal Pro mod with the same similar setup, you'd have a lot more room, and the tube would come pretty much straight out here, But on this deal, we got to kind of jog it back because of the wheelbase. This is 106, a Pro mod's 111 on this side, or even longer sometimes. The tubing coming out of the head and the zoomie bends are all 2.5 inch primaries. That's what they like to run on these Pro Charge deals. Obviously some other applications like the bigger nitrous deals, like 2 3/4 to 3 inch. And also another difference is for the Pro Charge application, this is 062 material, this is 049 material. On a nitrous application, this would be 049 and this would be 035. Reason being is the nitrous application doesn't vibrate as much as this and doesn't make as much downforce. If you try to run the thin wall stuff on this, it would break all the time. Because of the short wheelbase on this car and how long the door is, you can see there's not much room here. We're actually gonna have to go into the rocker panel because there's only 7 inches of fender here because of the wheelbase and the door length. So we're gonna actually have to go into the rocker. This will be the start of the rocker. This is where our first tube will be. This is where our last tube will be here. This is just a jig that I set up. This is where the rocker is. I space it up 1/2 inch just to give us a little clearance between the bottom of the rocker and the ground. To clear this tire on the front tube, instead of running them directly out of the hole and back, we're gonna have to put a little jog in each one and make them follow along the same. So hopefully when we get to here, we have enough room. The reason for the tire being turned is because that's the tightest it'll be on the header. So we want to make sure we have clearance. If it's turned and it has clearance, it'll have clearance when it's straight.
Under the surface, don't know what you're expecting of me, but under the pressure of walking in your shoes, caught in the undertow, just caught in the undertow. Every step that I take is another mistake to you. Caught in the undertow, just caught in the undertow. I've become so numb, I can't feel you there. Become so tired, so much more aware. I'm becoming this. All I want to do is be more like me and be less like you. Can't you see that you're smothering me?
All right, we got the first tube in there where we want it to be. We got the right space between the door we want. Talked about the 35 degrees from flat. And everything turned back like we said. A little jog in it so we can clear the tire. First tube's always the hardest.
Holding too tightly, afraid to lose control, 'cause everything that you thought I would be is falling apart right in front of you. Caught in the undertow, just caught in the undertow. Every step that I take is another mistake to you. Caught in the undertow, just caught in the undertow. And every second I waste is more than I can take. I've become so numb, I can't feel you there. Become so tired, so much more aware. I'm becoming this. All I want to do is be more like me and be less like you. And I know I may.
All right guys, now that this side's all tapped together, we take one off at a time. We take it over there to the tubing polisher. Obviously you can see this one looks a lot different than this one here. And we weld them up one at a time. clamp it back to the tube behind it so we make sure it's in the same exact spot, tack it to the head, and repeat on all of them. And this is the process of welding here. Once they're polished, clean it up real good, back purge it so the welds are perfect. That's about it.
And throw it back on the car.
We'll throw it back in the car.
See, easy.
That's it.
Should have had it done
Yeah,
3 hours ago.
It's a 15-minute job to do the whole thing. That's it. Both sides. We've just been kind of hanging out the rest of the time.
Talking.
Yeah, talking.
But they're coming together nicely.
Yeah, they're coming together good.
Now we had to cut it clearance for the door, right?
Yeah, a little shorter than we wanted to because there's not much room on the front end, like I said earlier. So because it's so far back into the rocker, the door would hit it. So we had to cut it to clear the door. So well, it'll be all right.
So how many days do you have into this?
35 days. No. It's 8 hours, maybe 6 hours on one side.
So you can
About a
typically
two or
build
3
a
day
header
job.
2-3
Long
days.
days, yeah.
There you go. Justin requires it in one
Well,
day.
if I'm billing you though, it's probably gonna be more like it's about a week.
Wow, I feel like it. I've been seeing the bills come in here lately. It's been pretty.
About a week.
They've been getting up there.
Yeah.
I think I'm charging double the rate or something.
Yeah.
I don't see double the work getting done
Yeah.
there.
I feel it.
Oh.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Got a lot more coming.